SwirlRadio.com.
Welcome back to Swirl, your A through Z, covering the LGBT, LMNOP, and everyone in between show. I'm Michelle Meow, your host. I'm wearing a special sweater. If you've noticed, it's got hearts all over it with little lines that suggest, well, if there's only two of them, it'd be the HRC equality line, because I'm all for marriage equality today. Yes. Joining us to be with us on our special marriage equality show is Chris Stoll, who is the senior staff attorney for National Center for Lesbian Rights. I got it right this time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is your descriptive title. Although I'm all for giving, you amazing titles, which you're amazing for being here with us tonight.
Thank you.
Because, so before the break, we were talking about just kind of where we're at with the hearings, as far as the Supreme Court hearings goes in the Edie Windsor case and Proposition 8, and it sounds positive, and we're moving in the right direction, so that's good. But let's go, specifically Prop 8. Let's start with Tuesday and the arguments heard there. What's there to argue? If you were working on the other side, what are they arguing?
Well, I've been working on these issues for a long time, and I have been listening to their arguments for a long time, and I still really can't make much sense of them. What their defense of Prop 8 basically comes down to the idea that somehow by keeping same-sex couples from marrying, that's going to encourage opposite-sex couples to responsibly procreate within the context of a marriage. No one's ever been able to explain how that works or why that would be. Tuesday, Justice Kagan, I think, kind of blew that out of the water. She, observed that we allow couples that are over the age of 55 to get married, and there are not a lot of children coming out of those marriages, she said.
Unless you're Donald Trump.
Exactly. Or Strom Thurmond, as
right.
Justice Scalia mentioned.
Right. Yeah, that's a great response to that argument. But why the kids? Why go after the kids?
I don't really understand their focus on same-sex marriage as being harmful to kids. And in fact, Justice Kennedy on Tuesday kind of turned that around on them and said, hey, there are 40,000 kids being raised by same-sex couples in California. Shouldn't their interest really be considered here too?
Right. And then it's even more interesting to me because Proposition 8 is a California issue, right? So are they only talking about children in California?
Well, for this case, they are talking only about children in California because it's California law, but obviously there are many
right.
more kids being raised nationally by same-sex couples, and the same arguments and issues apply to them.
Geez, I wish I was in the courtroom for that one. I mean, it's the Supreme Court, and we're having a conversation about children.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you could listen to the argument online, and when Justice Kagan said that, there was audible laughter on the tape, and
wow.
People were really struck by that.
So let's go to the Edie Windsor case. So she was there with her lawyer Roberta Kaplan, and and talking about just her argument and really how she feels discriminated. There's lots of couples who are married now, same-sex couples. You don't have federal benefits, but can you elaborate on the argument there in terms of that case?
Yeah, well, I think if anything, it makes even less sense for the federal government to deny benefits to same-sex couples who are already married than it does for a state to say that there shouldn't be marriage in the first place. There's really no good reason why different married couples should be treated differently. And even more than that, there was a lot of focus in the argument about how Congress deciding to prevent same-sex couples from getting benefits really reversed the whole tradition of the federal government, which has always been to recognize a marriage if the state recognizes it.
There had been some talk in today's, hearing about the president and how the president, why is this now thrown at the Supreme Court to make a decision because, he hasn't done anything to start repealing Defense of Marriage Act. Did you have any thoughts about that?
Well, the president can't repeal the Defense of Marriage Act on his own. It takes a majority in Congress, and so far, we haven't been able to get a majority in Congress to do that. The reason the court is being asked to step in at this point is that the political process really has not worked for gay people, and we continue to have these discriminatory laws in this country, and it's not being corrected.
Yeah, absolutely. So the end of June, both cases will have a decision.
By the end of June, we'll have a decision in both cases. As I mentioned, I think there's a chance that the court will just let the lower court decision stand in the Prop 8 case. There's some chance that could happen in the DOMA case as well, but I think it's more likely that they'll just strike down DOMA. But again, these are all just guesses. Only those 9 people know, and you can't necessarily read too much into what they say.
And if we should have a plan B, I mean, obviously it's not what we're planning, by the way, and I don't mean to be cynical, but I think having a plan B is good. So if it didn't go our way, what's the next step? What is the plan B?
If we had a total loss, I think we would just keep doing what we've been doing for the last 20, 30 years, and that is work in the states, state by state, have those political conversations, try to persuade the state courts to overturn their marriage bans where that's possible, and just dig in our heels and get ready for the next phase of the fight.
Well, we obviously are bracing for the good news. So everyone stick with this momentum and this attitude. Everyone on my Facebook page, pretty much, and probably yours, has switched their profile picture out, for the red HRC equality logo. Should we keep doing that until June? Should we put as much pressure on the court?
I think people should keep doing it for as long as they feel like doing it. It's really an impressive thing to go on your Facebook and see a string of red all down the page.
But I mean, even so celebrities are coming out and having personal dialogue on their Twitter handle to support marriage equality. You've got corporations, you've got politicians who are coming out to publicly support that. Do you think that will continue until June? Do you think it's a good idea to keep the momentum going?
I think absolutely it's a good idea to keep the momentum going. The court, likes to think of itself as an ivory tower, but they read the news. They pay attention to what's happening in the world. And the more that people can show them how strongly they feel about this issue, the better off we are.
Last question for you, Chris, and this might be just too general, and it's okay for you to say, I'm not sure how to answer that, but as far as the LGBTQ community goes, after we win marriage equality, what's next? What's the bigger fight? What's the biggest fight after that?
Oh, well, there are so many issues. The treatment of kids in schools, bullying. There are so many states in this country where gay people have just absolutely no legal protections and very little hope, particularly the South and the more rural areas of the country. We have a lot of work to do beyond marriage equality.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. So Chris Stoll, everybody, he's the senior staff attorney for the National Center for Lesbian Rights. Thank you so much for your time and for joining us here and kind of going over the marriage equality situation here in the United States.
Thanks.
So coming up next, Mia Macy takes down the bathroom issue. I shouldn't say take down. I should say she discusses the bathroom issue in Arizona. So don't go away. Here's a quick break.